So, how hot is hot cocoa? Let's talk about it. Hi, how are you all doing out there? TGIF, that's right. Thank God it is Friday. For some of us, meaning it's the weekend, baby. Meaning some of us still have to go to work this weekend. Anyway, happy Friday to you all out there. And welcome over here to Pepe's Point of View, where we mainly talk about R&B divas. And do we have an R&B diva for you today? We are talking about Coco from SWV, But before I do that, allow me to do some housekeeping. Okay, so as you guys know, if you followed me for some time, I'm trying to tweak some things and change things over here with my platform. And so far, so good. I'm actually liking some of the changes. However, I still need your help. I promise you, I cannot do this without you. We, YouTubers, we cannot do this without you guys. And one of the things that, we all, want to do is build up our following. And so what I am requesting everyone to do who is a subscriber over here, and if you want to subscribe, I welcome you as well. I have a social media platform, a Facebook page, Pepe's Point of View, a TikTok page, Pepe's Point of View, as well as an Instagram page, which is my name, Kareem Jones. It's my name, actually. And so what I'm asking you guys to do, if you're trying to follow me, if you will, not to follow my personal Facebook page, because I'm trying to get everything moved over onto the Pepe's Point of View Facebook page. So please follow that. Over there on that page, what I am doing is I'm trying to get myself adjusted to current R&B divas. And so what I'm deciding to do is to talk about them over there on my Facebook page. I'm trying to keep it, as separate. And I feel comfortable doing that. So any of the new divas, and I've discovered some new divas that I'm talking about over on my Facebook page. So please follow that page, okay? My Facebook page with Pepe's Point of View. I appreciate you guys so much for doing that, because I'm actually trying to get the people on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, to actually follow my Pepe's Point of View page. So I appreciate you guys so much for your cooperation on that. And also I am working on a website. That's right. And of course, I'm going to try to move everything over there, because we have a lot of things coming up, and I feel more comfortable having those things over on my personal Facebook page, which will be launched pretty soon. I'm looking forward to publishing it pretty soon. So again, thank you guys so much for your cooperation on that. Thank you a lot. So we're talking about R&B diva Coco. Coco of SWV. And here's what actually happened, how I kind of stumbled across doing Coco. I did Dawn Lewis. The last video I uploaded was Dawn Lewis, Waiting for You. And for some apparent reason, it just kind of clicked in my head. Hold on, wait a minute. Coco actually released a solo project around like 1999, 2000, 2001. My numbers are kind of all over the place when it comes to anything after 1997. If you follow me, then you know after 1997, I kind of stopped following music and trying to figure out what songs was on what chart and how they was doing in the sales and all that stuff, because R&B music at that time was either changing or they was trying to do away with it. We'll talk more about that as well. And this is Black Music Month, by the way. And so that's how I stumbled across it. I never heard any of the songs on Coco's Hot Coco album other than the song that was released called Sunshine. And I was like, oh, okay, it's a nice song. It wasn't something that I was like, ooh, I must have and have to go out and buy it. Speaking of going out and buying it, let's talk about, well, what kind of record was it and what did I think about the record? Well, let's say this. If you follow me, then you also know my story about SWV. So allow me to remind you. SWV was not my favorite girl group when they came out. It is what it is. You guys know I am a diehard En Voguer over here. En Vogue was definitely my group. En Vogue is still my group. Shout out to Terry, Cindy, and Rona, who's keeping the brand alive. Congratulations to you guys on all of the success you're having over there. And as I said, En Vogue was just a group. So every group that came after En Vogue, I kind of looked at with a side eye like, okay, I guess. And I was always looking to compare to see if the girl groups after En Vogue was trying to bite off them, if you will. And for the most part, sometimes I saw some similarities and then I saw, some things that were not similarities. And so when I heard SWV's first record right here, I was like, no. I don't know. There was something just not good about that song to me. It just was, it was childlike. It was not a mature song to me. I was like, okay, it's what it is. And I just felt like it was just a bunch of kids. That's how I looked at them, even though, I was a, teenager myself. I also remember reading a review about their first album, and it did not get a positive review. And what I was thinking is also what the reviewer was saying, like, I don't think this group is going to be around at all. And that's how I looked at SWV when they released the song right here. I was like, they're not going to go anywhere fast. Well, boy, was I wrong. When the ladies released I'm So Into You, that second single, I was like, whoa, boy, was I wrong. Like, when everything about I'm So Into You was just on point, everything. And let me tell you, I love my 80s R&B divas. You know how much I love them. And let me tell you what sealed it for me with SWV with I'm So Into You. First of all, when they said in the song, You're Not Mine and I Can't Deny It, I was like, oh, baby, that's Shaka Khan now. I was like, oh, okay, SWV, that's Shaka, And then at the end, the ad-lib at the end of I'm So Into You, when Coco was doing that ad-lib, I was just like, this is it. I'm loving these ladies. I have liked them ever since then. Like, there's no way, and I was very, very much happy to see that SWV created a lane for themselves. They did. Like, there's nothing that I can actually think of that they kind of like mimicked or copied or tried to duplicate, the En Vogue thing. They did not do that. And I said today, that's why certain girl groups after En Vogue was successful. They did not even dare to get in En Vogue's lane. I mean, if you tried to do it, you was going to come up short. So let's create our own lane. And the ladies of SWV did that. And that's why they're still around today. Oh my gosh. I mean, I don't know what else to say about these ladies. But we're going to talk about Coco in her Hot Coco album. Now, having said that, I also want to make sure, put out this disclaimer that, listen here, if you're not a creative person on any level, it is, you cannot critique people at all, okay? And I try my best to make sure that I come from a place where I am trying to do my best to be objective as possible, okay? I have my own style of doing it. I know I want to be myself and as authentic as possible. I don't want to be like anybody else out there. I don't. You know what? If I'm not your coffee, if I'm not your coffee, I'm okay with that. I definitely am, but I am also okay with being me, and I'm going to continue to be me. So I have my own style over here and the way I like to do things, and I'm okay with that. And so when I do things now and I am looking at my R&B divas, I try to do it from a place of where I can identify, you know, with what they're doing and try to do, as I said, try to be as objective as possible. So having said that, I'm about to go down a path where some people, even the ladies of SWV, could probably think that I'm being offensive or, you know, without having a clue, because there's always a backstory. But this here is just the way I see it. Take it with a grain of salt, I promise you. As we talked about SWV in the beginning, I want people to understand something. And Taj and Lily probably would find this offensive. Technically, by default, Coco is the SWV sound. By default. I don't know how much background vocals the ladies of Taj and Lily, I don't know how much they contribute to the background vocals. I don't know if they have like a New Edition thing going on over there, you know, where Ralph is pretty much singing as much as possible or what have you. And then maybe the guys will come back here and do a little shoe doop or bop bop here or there. You know what I'm saying? And then it's what it is. You know, I don't know how much of the recording process Taj and Lily are a part of when they're recording music. But for me, what I'm hearing and getting is that Coco is the SWV sound because she is definitely the lead singer. However, I do know, listening to some of their previous albums, like their current previous albums, I think was on E1, that I think it was Lily. She led a song that I liked a lot. I can't remember which album it was. But anywho, so now what I'm getting, where I'm going with this is that for Coco's Hot Coco album, what I don't understand is why there's a lack of direction on this album. Like there's no direction at all. And it seems like the album is all over the place. Like, it's not a bad album. It's just all over the place. And of course, over here, I've taken notes for this one that I'm going to talk to you guys about. And I want you guys to kind of get a little bit of feel about what I am saying when it comes to her album. All right, so the first single that is the intro. And believe it or not, I like the intro. I do. When the intro first came on, and I knew it was an intro because it said intro. But the intro made me say, oh, it made me want more. I wanted more out of the intro. I felt like the intro could have been a full length song. And I'm saying to myself, like, wonderful teaser, but I want to hear more. And I didn't get that. And I can't remember what song it sounded like it probably sampled, but there's a song that comes in my head when I hear the intro that, and I don't want to play it again, simply because I don't want to get any, copyrights over here. But it made me think of a sampled song somewhere. Then you have the second single, Don't Take Your Love Away. And I also, now that I think about it, yes, okay. I think the song falls short. It does, because I'm not quite sure how much Brian Alexander Morgan had a part to play in Coco's album. I was able to read some credits to see that he did contribute to the album, but for the most part, it sounded like it was a Rodney Jerkins production. Okay. Okay. I didn't like it. When I heard it, the song Don't Take Your Love Away, I just knew at this moment in time that I was like, no, don't do it. There's something about Lily's, Coco's vocals and Rodney Jerkins' production that does not mesh well together for me on this album. It just doesn't. And when I hear the song Don't Take Your Love Away, it almost makes me think of Ashanti. I was like, it's this in a Ashanti, type of song. And I'm not being offensive towards Ashanti, but I just never, y'all know I love my 80s divas. So there's just no way that Ashanti is in a Shaka Khan or A'ngela Winbush or Mickey Howard or an Addison Williams or any of those, Meli'sa Morgan. She's just not that singer, and it's not a diss, but I'm just trying to figure out why would a Coco try to be in Ashanti's, type of sound or vocal. I have no idea. And so I was like, okay, this sounds familiar to me, so I just really didn't care too much for that song because it made me say immediately, where is Brian Alexander Morgan? That's the first thing that I thought of when I was like, this song is not for me. So let's go into the second song, Sunshine. So here in the second song, Sunshine, even though I heard it before, I'm saying it again. I was like, okay, decent effort. I really liked it. And so this can, I could put a comma here and say, when I first heard the song Sunshine and realized that Coco had, pretty much departed from SWV, it was one of those things, and it's unfortunate for an artist who is in a group. I was talking about Dawn Lewis transitioning from an actress to a songwriter, even though she probably has that background in that talent, but we see her as an actress. And so for her to go into being a singer-songwriter, you kind of look side-eye. I'm talking about the public. Can you do this? And how can we switch this over? And that's the same thing with SWV's Coco. You are a lead singer already in an established group. You're going your separate way. And now it's like you have to create an identity for yourself. And so obviously Sunshine is the record that the record company's management, maybe her, everyone agreed or probably disagreed, but still agreed that Sunshine would be the first single to be released and it would establish her identity as a solo artist, from SWV. And the reason why I brought up that the reason why I brought up that Coco is the SWV sound is for the point I'm about to make here. There was no need for anyone to try to recreate that. Looking back now, there was no need. Now, I can understand it could have very well been an issue where Coco management, the record company, and it could have been just Coco herself that basically said, hey, listen up, you guys. I don't want to sing another week. I don't want to sing another I'm So Into You. Like, that was SWV, and I want to now set myself up to be, an individual. I'm Coco, so I have a whole lot of different things going on, things that I like, music that I like, artists that I like, other R&B divas I like, and so I want to put a lot of that into, my individuality as a solo artist, and so that's understandable. However, I'm talking about a winning formula. And unfortunately, it looks like, the winning formula would be what SWV previously sounded like. Because we have to understand, and true enough, when we are being sold something, we have a tendency to look at it from what it was and not what it could be. And sometimes we have to ease our way into that. It's the same thing with R&B diva Sherelle. When she left working with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and she released her album, The Woman I Am. And when I heard the song Tears of Joy, I liked it, but I'm like, this is not that hitting Sherelle sound that I'm so used to hearing, that Minneapolis sound that Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, has, put their step on with her. And so, I looked at it like, no, this is not working for me. Yes, I'm a fan, Sherelle. I'm supporting the album. I have the album, but it's not working. And sometimes with diehard fans, they'll support you, they'll buy it, but then they'll just put it to the side and say, okay, yeah, I have it. And then it's more like an afterthought. And I think that that's what happens with SWV's Coko. This album is more, like an afterthought. Like you get it, you feel good, and it feels good to have it, but you purchase it and then you go like, okay, I'm done with that one. And so it's unfortunate. And I think that that's what Sunshine probably was going to do, but it didn't do. It didn't establish her as that individual artist that she probably wanted to be, looked at. So again, the song is just definitely unfamiliar to me. It's unfamiliar territory. Then you have the song You and Me. You and Me is my favorite song on the album. And it seems like it's not a Rodney Jerkins song, You and Me, but it's a Rodney Jerkins song. That's why I say this album is so uneven to me. This song, You and Me, could have been, I believe, her signature style. But then as I listen more to it, I'm saying, this sounds familiar. I'm like, is this Mary J. Blige? You see, so now I have Ashanti. I'm thinking Ashanti. Now I'm thinking Mary J. Blige. If you are one of those people who, kind of senses certain things, I guess you could say on the surface, or just a layer under the surface, and you're like, yeah, this, you're trying to be Mary J over here. You're trying to be Ashanti. Like I think this album right off the bat, after you get to the third track, you're saying to yourself, or the fourth track, you're saying to yourself, you're saying, I want Lily. I want Lily. I want Lily. And that's what I, want you guys to kind of get from me over here. So then we get to the fifth single, or the fifth song, Bigger Than Me. Again, a song that I like. Bigger Than Me is definitely another favorite song of mine on the album. So I have two songs I like, You and Me and Bigger Than Me. It sounds like it's taking the album a different approach though now. So when I get to this song, it's like everything changes up quickly. Like Ashanti, Mary J. Blige. No, not Mary J. Blige anymore. Like what is this? And if there was a song that could have set her apart from all of this on this album, I'm getting the feeling that Bigger Than Me should have been the first single released after I listened to all of it. That's my take right now. And so then we get to the next single on the album, Trying to Come Home. Now I'm even more confused, you guys. So we got Ashanti, we have Mary J. Blige, a Mary J. Blige sound. And then when I hear Trying to Come Home, guess what I think I'm hearing? I'm thinking that I'm getting a Keke Wyatt out of Coco. I'm like, is this Keke Wyatt? And Avant? Like, which one came first? I think Avant came first. Well, then I have to ask myself, when did the album come out? And I would like to think that her album came out first, which means if her album came out first, then if I think about Keke Wyatt and Avant, I'm saying to myself, well, no, maybe Keke Wyatt and Avant bit off her sound because she came before, the My First Love and so on and so forth. So I'm looking at it from this year going back. So I could be wrong. She could very well be, now that I think about it, the one who came up with all of this. You understand what I'm saying? And since it didn't work, so to speak, maybe some people came along and bit off her style. And maybe that's how we got the Kiki Wide and Avant. You know, you never know. See, that's why I said this. Then you have a song called Trifling. And when I'm listening to Trifling, I'm like, no, I don't, no, it sounds like it sounds like I'm listening to another diva again. It doesn't sound like I'm listening to Coco. It doesn't. And then we get to I Ain't Feeling You. It gets more, we're getting closer to the end of the album. I Ain't Feeling You. And then you hear the song Every Time. And then you say to yourself, okay, Every Time could be a potential track to play. You think that, you know, you get that feel. And then you get to the song called All My Lovin'. And then I'm confused yet again. I'm confused. And then you hear If This World Were Mine. And then you say to yourself, maybe this record could be the one. Why is it that they didn't release this with Tyrese? And then I'm saying to myself, like, well, I don't know. Maybe they didn't release it with Tyrese. If you're listening to it to compare it to another diva and soul man, Luther Vandross, in who song If This World Were Mine? Was it Sherilyn? Yes. So if you listen to it to kind of get that soul that you got out of Luther Vandross and Sherilyn with this song, then you say to yourself, nope, that's not it. Yeah. I don't know. And of course, we know it's a Marvin Gaye song, you know, If This World Were Mine, but still, you know. Yeah. I am just not impressed. Hot Coco was just not hot to me, but it's okay. You know, I think the album just wasn't balanced enough to get a good glimpse of what could possibly have been a wonderful Coco, you know, solo career. But it's well worth, you know, purchasing and listening to. You'll find some good gems in it. It's not that the album loses its way. It's just not cohesive. And you know what? Usually when I think about Rodney Jerkins, well, no, let me take that back. Let's talk about Brian Alexander Morgan. It's almost like he created what we love about SWV. And when we see Coco team up with Rodney Jerkins, and oh my gosh, I don't believe I'm going to say this. See, I never know what I'm going to say over here. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right, y'all ready? Okay. Rodney Jerkins, to me, the sound is almost like a flavor of the month sound to me. Great artist. I mean, great producer, of course. But that sound to me feels like it wouldn't last. That Missy Elliott, and I know, and Timbaland sound is good, but sometimes the tried, true, traditional method of recording is kind of like what lasts. Even though you probably change up technology, so on and so forth, I just never could, excuse me, get into a Rodney Jerkins production. Even when he was working with, I think he did some things with Whitney Houston. Of course, he did some things with Brandy. I was like, oh, okay. It's just that I couldn't get into that beat and that production style. Just couldn't. And it's definitely not working for someone like Coco. Coco, I'm looking forward to you releasing a second album. I think that you are very well worthy of doing that. And I think that, you know, these songs could be songs, if you don't have them in your live shows now, I don't see why you wouldn't put them in your live shows. It's not like it's not like the album is bad. That's not what I'm saying. The album is just not a good, solid overall effort, and you lose your way in it. It's like, who is she? You know, to me, you know. So that's my take. We're at the 30-minute mark, and you know, I'm not trying to go over 30 minutes any longer. So again, I want to say thank you guys so much. And if you got to this part of the video, then I think it's okay to ask you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, the share button, as well as leave a comment. And also remember, whenever I leave my mother's presence, she always says to me, baby, remember, I love you, but God loves you best. I love you guys out there. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really and truly do appreciate it. And over here, I definitely believe and putting your behind where your heart desires to be. And I hope that you all are doing that no matter who support you or not. I'm here to tell you that he is for you is more than them that are against you. I promise you that. Okay? And also, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next video. And until then, you know what to do. Take care of yourselves out there, you guys.